Let's get on to our next interview. And it's our hosts this morning. We're down here at the Experience Centre at PwC in downtown Dubai. And we love being here because it's a great place, it's a great location. But what the guys have also done is they've kind of thrown open the PwC Brains Trust to us. They're smartest guys on a range of issues. And today, we turn our attention to ESG, environmental, social and governance issues. Delighted to be joined in the studio by the ESG leader here for PwC Middle East. He is Dr. Yahya Anouti. Dr. Yahya, good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
So let's take a step back first of all. ESG, environmental and social governance. 5 years ago, nobody was talking about it. Today, everybody, it seems, has an ESG policy. How are you defining it?
So the story is not new. Like we all know the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. Like I had my first job maybe at the United Nations in New York, where this was the buzz and this was what created the framework agenda for the governments. But the big change is happening from the investment scene with the ESG framework, where the environment is really about looking at reducing greenhouse gases, looking at water scarcity, the water stress, looking at waste, looking at biodiversity. The S is about equity and inclusion in the labor force, and the governance is around the transparency, it's about the privacy in data and so on. So it's just a framework that the financial community has coined that is building on what governments have been doing in order to bring all the collective efforts to save our planet.
Okay, which is a worthy goal and we all support it. And you spent a lot of your career, you're Lebanese and you've worked in Lebanon, but you've spent a lot of your career in Washington, the United States, working with the World Bank. Great, but you say, and these are your words, 3,000 plus publicly listed companies in this region, but we are, quote, lagging behind. What's the problem?
So look what, we surveyed over half of these companies and to find that the agenda today in the region is sort of in transition. It's a startup mentality. It's like the priorities are between what the board has to do versus the leadership team. What are the priorities? What do the international financial investors want versus what our region wants? So our region is known to be short on water supply, fresh water supply. We are in the top 10 charts of greenhouse gas emissions per capita. We are among the most consuming nations we generate a lot of waste. We are also in the top 10 charts. We have big problems around the S. If I give you a flavor, around 30% of the labor force in the GCC is composed of nationals. And if I look at the women's front, at the MENA region, we lose over $500 billion every year in economic value because of women-related barriers to join the workforce. And around 40% of the women who are prone to be in the labor market are not in there and have the barriers to that. So there are so many challenges. We have to take the action. We have to take the lead. The governments have put the North Star with their vision and the aspirations. Now it's a time for the private sector to join forces and using the ESG framework to take part in this.
Yahya, the business breakfast audience, and I know them well after 15 years, they are a cynical and skeptical bunch. They're going to be driving to work this morning thinking, that's great, Dr. Yahya, but this is just lip service. This is just greenwashing. This is companies will hire a firm like PwC, like yours, a guy like you, get a nice report and a slide deck, and then forget about it. Convince that skeptical business breakfast listener that something real is happening and meaningful.
Look what. Yeah, let's put this glossy report on the side. I've seen so many of these and I'm proud to not contribute to any of these. This is really a fundamental change in the agenda. And let me tell you, there are positive NPV stories. So
positive what stories?
NPV. So the financial returns of many of these initiatives bring new businesses. They reduce your costs. So today, if I look at the renewable energy, if you increase the adoption of renewable energy in your operations, it's cheaper than taking energy from the grid and from alternative sources. So it's a no-brainer to adopt that. Today, if I tell you, let us adopt circular economy, which is like recycling our waste and thinking differently of what we consume, you are saving money. So this is something that is bringing in value to your business, to your bottom line and the profitability. Today, if I tell you that consumers are more aware and they are willing to pay more for ESG type of products, where they say that they are bringing in value from products that are produced locally, that are generating jobs within their communities, they are willing to pay more for these products.
So will we pay more for tomatoes grown in a greenhouse in Al Ain than we will for tomatoes imported from the Netherlands?
Look what. Let us compare tomatoes to tomatoes. so the starting point is that when you are importing anything, this import is associated with greenhouse gas emissions. And this import is not creating jobs in your economy. The government is here in the UAE is leading with the in-country value programs. There are incentives all over the place. So if I take that and compare, when you are making the choice, when the price is competitive, again, the price, we believe in many cases is competitive and sometimes cheaper. When this is something that is helping the environment, it's creating jobs in your community, you naturally have to go for this product rather than the imported ones. And it boosts your food security agenda and so on and so forth.
Okay, final question. So many oil companies in this region, from Saudi Aramco, the world's biggest company, to ADNOC here, private companies like Crescent Petroleum. Your job title, you're with a partner with Strategy and part of PwC. It says on your profile he specializes in resource-based sustainable development, energy-related strategies with national oil companies and international oil companies. How can you convince me that an oil company can embrace ESG, particularly the E, the environmental bit? Only got 45 seconds on that.
Look what. We are so endowed in this region with hydrocarbons, but also with renewable energy. We have the most competitive renewable energy of this world. And instead of exporting oil products, which will continue, it's not like you'll unplug from the system overnight, but with the capabilities that we have, with the supply chains, we are able to lead in the green hydrogen economy, where we take the renewable energy, produce green hydrogen molecules that would fuel the world. And it's these companies that will lead this transition and would take us to there to achieve these goals.
Yeah. Great speaking to you. Appreciate your time this morning. Support your mission as well, so keep on flying the flag for that one. That's the voice of Dr. Yahya Anouti. He's a partner and ESG leader within PwC Strategy and Middle East. This is the Business Breakfast, live from PwC's Experience Centre.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Join the conversation.